Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the MD-005, the KO of the Commander Class Optimus Prime, with a lot of improvements, a lot of extra parts and pieces and inclusions that the original one did not come with. It fixed my biggest issue with the figure, and with that, I'm going to show you everything I like about it. It's a couple of drawbacks it has, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty solid figure. I did get this at Shozy Store. I have a link down below where you can get yours too. Remember, TH in the support your favorite reviewer and on the main page. You go there, you buy some of the stuff. Hopefully I help save you some money by sending you that way. But let's take a look at this Optimus Prime. I don't usually look at Chug stuff. I did not review the original one, but I'm more excited about this. Talk about this and more coming up. Alright, looking at the packaging, it's a brown box special, but it's not just a brown box. It's a box in a box! And you get another box. Double boxed. And it's another brown box special. Nothing going on. Is it A or is it B? And then you get all this. So, figure, trailer, bunch of accessories, and so obviously a figure and a trailer. And if we get up a little closer, we get to see blast effect. I think that's a light up cannon, an arm, Megatron arm. Is it Skybound Comics? I don't know. And then we've got more of these accessories. Some of it's kind of shifted in here. 2 heads, 2 more heads, 3 more heads. And then we've got this. There are cartoon chest panels, standard chest panels. We got stuff to make him into Starscream. I have got to look at some more of this stuff. But anyway, that's what comes in the box. So here he is out of the box. It's basically raw footage here so that you can see what it comes with. And that's all packed inside the trailer. Roller doesn't really clip in, so he just kind of rolls around in there. But you get a roller, and you get the trailer, you get all that stuff, you get the gun, 2 blast effects, and you get the Energon axe. I mean, this thing is packed with stuff for, what is it, like $65 for the set, something like that. Pretty impressive overall, but I gotta say that I didn't realize all this stuff was packed in here, and I was like, where's his gun? There's his gun. So we'll get his gun out of here, put it on him, and see what all we can get going on here. And here, gun goes into his hand. Let's see if his hand's open. Yep, hand's open. And we're going to get to articulation and trigger finger, but let's just get his gun in his hand. So we've got that going on. Let's see about a blast effect at the end of the barrel. So that stuff works pretty well. Let's pull this off here. I mean, there's so many accessories. Let me see how that's on there. So many accessories. It's hope I edit all that out. Oh, knocking the camera around. It's plugged in. This is weird. This Energon axe is plugged in right here to the side, which I mean makes sense. It's simplistic. And then is it one that you're going to need to flip the hand around to get the Energon axe on there? Let's start semi-transforming this thing to get his Energon axe on there. And so we've just got the basics. I mean, here we are. This is the basics of what we got going on here with this Prime and the trailer. And so far that looks pretty good. One thing I did notice that to engage the ankle tilt, you got to disconnect it from here, which is something, it's a thing that you're going to have to do. I was at first thinking it didn't have ankle tilt, but looking at the engineering, I was like, it definitely does. So you have to disconnect that. Not sure if that's the way it is on the original, but my son has the original. I guess I should ask him a lot of these questions about the original. We'll get that out for comparison eventually. But yeah, pretty good. So far, I'm pretty impressed for a Hasbro figure. I mean, I think they were charging $90 Commander class, getting it $65, and then a ton of extra accessories, and fixing what I thought was an issue. Like there was like something in here on the original bothered me. I guess we'll wait till we get to that. And I'm wondering about, I heard that there's supposed to be like hip flaps, side flaps on an upgrade kit. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be included on this. But anyway, I'm not really too worried about that. That's probably the only downside I see that. And then the engineering of this giant backpack. I mean, it's funny that MP44 had a backpack. People flipped out. But people love this backpack. It's really strange. It's really, really strange. But overall, still a really good looking figure. Overall, let's get into the rest of these crazy accessories. Okay, so first off, I'm going to show them with the standard chest windows, and that looks great. So whatever they did is different, a little different on here than what they did with the original release. So I like that. But I don't want these in there forever, so I barely put them in there so I can easily take them out. They seem, it feels like if you put them in too hard, if you go too hard on it, that it's possible that you're going to have a hard time getting them out, which is always an issue in my opinion. But let's see, now this makes it a little easier. It looks like the same part, they just did the painting over it to decide which one goes on which side. And they fit in pretty tight. So getting them out, let's see if I can get that back out. Yeah, getting them back out is a challenge. I want these in. You'll see why here in a bit, but this is how I want mine. Plus, I don't want to confuse it with the standard, with the standard one when I get my sons out. But yeah, I mean, that looks great with that accessory. You also get the same colors, windows, windshield pieces. You get them for the side. When we get to the transformation, we're going to get to that. But I'm not going to be using that so much. What else do we get here? We get some heads. We get some heads. 3 different heads. So let's pull him in so we can do the heads. We get a very, very, very G1-esque head. G1-esque. Another very, very G1-esque head with shorter, what do you call them? Antennae. Shorter antennae. Look at all the shadows getting casted by this. I don't know if that affects the photography. Then you also get the battle damage. So let's go ahead and put the battle damage on. See how that goes. It's looking at these. It almost feels like you want to push them back a little bit, but I guess you can just pop them off and pop them on. But yeah, it's got that look like you could push. You want to push them. Yeah. And the original head that comes with is just everything's like thicker on it, and probably a little bit stronger, I guess you could say. Then it comes with this effect here, and it's same thing as they did with MP44. So you get this damage effect. You just slide it on him, and he looks damaged, which is fantastic. And you know, another thing that is an improvement from other ones is because his hand does open like so, he can, well, maybe you'd use it on the other hand, but he can like, been hit. And it is only going to work for one side because of the angling and all that, but tabs in. But like, hurt myself. I'm to keep knocking it off. Should have used that hand. Yeah, kind of posed something looks like this. Oh, he injured himself. You can see the damage on him, damage on his face, damage on his abdomen there, and his butterfly's engaged to like he's holding it. That works. Now to convert Optimus Prime into Starscream, we can bring this up a little bit and. Alright, so we've got his head here, so we pop on the Starscream head. We take this, there's 2 tabs, 2 slots, we pop on the Starscream shoulder pieces. Then we gotta find a spot for these, which are right here on his forearms. And then turn them around, and we've got to put these in. So this one is going to go on this side, and it's just going to go into here. Like, I don't know exactly how it works, but it just pops in and it slides in and fits in just right. It's kind of nice. Something like this. And then we turn them around, and we have Starscream in Optimus Prime's body. It's a gimmick. A lot of work and a lot of plastic went into this. So it's a lot of plastic, a lot of work, a lot of engineering to make this happen. So you better enjoy it. Enjoy it. I tell you. How about you enjoy this? We have Starscream taking off the Optimus Prime head. He's getting out of his Optimus Prime costume. He's taking his Edgar suit off, but it's one of those things that's a lot of work to go through, a lot of money, a lot of plastic to pull off something in one episode for this. But if it's something you want, you can do it. You can do it. Next up, we got the Megatron arm from comics, and I'm guessing Skybound or something. I don't actually take part into the comics, which I probably should, but I don't really have time. Most stuff I watch while I'm doing other things, so stopping to read a comic, I don't know about time on that. This is cool though, this Megatron arm. I mean, it's not something I really need. Starts to make me wonder what they could have done with the Megatron, like a KO company. Why not just make the rest of the Megatron, right? Why not? But anyway, so you open this up, you pop the arm off, pop this arm in. You saw me open that out, put this back in there. We put this cannon on, and it's interesting, it's got two tabs. One tab goes into here and one for something else. But it's supposed to light up, and I used my magnet. It didn't light up for me. I don't know if I have to put the battery in or not. I know that there's been a lot of issues. A friend of mine tried to send me something that had a battery in it, and so kind of like as a custom deal, and it got sent back to him. So I guess, not sure if you have to open it up, put your own battery in, but I used the magnet and it didn't work. But I can still see electronics exist in it, so it's a thing. It's not a thing I'm ever going to use. Like, once this review's over, it's going back in the box, and that's where it's going to stay. But it is kind of a cool little inclusion. I might actually use that blast effect though on a few different things. It looks a lot like the Skyfire Jetfire blast effect. Pretty good one. It's pretty pretty good overall. Now for the articulation, I really think that articulation should be supported with a little bit of posing. I mean, a little bit, not a lot. You don't have to go crazy with it or anything, but I probably should. So let's get into his articulation. So his head does go up and down, but his down is this, and it depends on the head. This head has way more downrange than the original one, which barely looked down at all. Like, when I was trying to do, well, I think I was using the damaged one, but the damaged one doesn't look down nearly as much as this head. Sculpt, so much different. Of course, just ball joint. Shoulder goes out to the 90. You get the 360. You get the bicep swivel E. You get a little bit of gappiness right there, but not too bad. You get the, okay, why is it not butterfly E, which is pretty extreme, and it does sort of break the sculpt a little bit. So you want to do it to whatever range you truly need it. Not, I mean, he could wield a sword if you want him to. It starts looking a little weird. Is it double jointed at the elbow? I feel like it should be double jointed at the elbow, but I'm not getting that out of it. And then the hand is pretty impressive. So yeah, it's automatically goes to gotcha, but it's above the waist, so it doesn't matter. It swivels here. You have two pins on a trigger finger, and then you've got the three fingers, or, you know, you got the he's drinking a Sprite. It's supposed to only be a pinky on a Sprite, right? And then you do have articulation in his smokestacks. That's just due to the construction. Waist swivel. Where's the ab crunch? I'm pretty sure it doesn't not have an ab crunch. It doesn't have an ab crunch. Timers. Life's on a timer. And then we go 90 degrees that way, 90 degrees this way, 90 out there. And I'm sure he can hold himself and do a stance. Come on, how can we get this done? And so, I mean, it's all friction based. And of course, when it's this lightweight of figure, he's not holding up any die cast or anything. It's still impressive though. I still like that. But getting back to, it's got a thigh swivel and nice hardware in there that's hidden by the flap. Then does it have a double joint? Yes, so he can do the whole jump in the air as he's transforming kind of deal. kind of ordeal. And then what do we got going on for the foot? I showed you, you pop it open. So there it is tapped in, and then untab it to get the ankle rocker, and you get some up and down on that. So there we go. Articulation is okay. I'm not getting an ab crunch out of it. It's at the end of the world. It's not for me, but it is for some. All right, we're going to start with a comparison. This is the KO on the left and the original one on the right. Now, there are pluses and minuses to each one of these, and goods and bads. First thing off, out of the gate, you're going to notice I've got the alternate head on there. So let me put the standard head back on so we can get that comparison done properly. So standard head, they look about the same. The blue in the eyes and blue in the eyes is about the same. Now we get down a little lower, we're going to notice the yellow's brighter on the KO. This is like an orange for that paint. And can I get that without the light reflecting off it? Now, one thing that always bothered me when I looked at the pictures of this Prime was the fact that he had these little notches in here, which I'm not sure. I guess they hold in the plastic, the glass piece, but they've engineered this a little differently to where you don't need those notches. And so with that, I think that looks a whole lot better. And even when these are off, you can go back and look in the other footage. Those notches don't exist, so even with them off, I think it looks better. So either way, if you want the clear windshield or not, that I still like this improvement better. And but this would not exist if this was not made. So let's just point that out. The grill, this part here, all this kind of looks about the same, going all the way down. Now I do want to say the blues are a little brighter. And the camera makes them look exactly the same. So let's say a deeper, richer blue slightly looks a little washed out on the original's blue. I would say there's like a 3% difference in the blue. So the camera's not showing it. Maybe it'll show up in editing. It'll look a little different. Now, the gun is a little bit darker on the KO over here than this gun over here. The blast effect is much more deeper orange. This is like looks like a, so that looks clear. This looks opaque, and it's different orange, and it's bent up because of what he was doing with them. He was using them on the smokestacks and doing some fun stuff. This is my son's, by the way. I don't own the original. My son, we got it for $60 at Target on clearance. Here it is from the back, and we've got to get the camera adjusted to see everything on the back, and it looks like no improvements or changes have made it all to the back. So get the figures out of the way. We can look at, next up we have Roller. Roller is almost exactly the same. Does Roller have a pop-up hood? It looks like it's just molding. Yeah, it doesn't pop up. But Roller, about the same. The trailer, almost identical. Down to this little guy here. The same color. Now it's a little darker on the canopy there, which this thing's so far away, but then I got to adjust so this is darker than that one, not much. And then the same thing with the accessories there. And we turn it around. I do like the original, the color of the original has a little, let's see if pick it up. It's a little shinier. This is more of a matte. This is more of a little shinier. So, and this has tamper graphs on it. This does not. So that's all the difference in the world for the trailers that I see. All right, so getting into the comparisons here, this is the missing link version of Prime the cartoon. This is the, what do they call this one? Earthrise? They call it Earthrise. And so as you can see, the Earthrise was $60. And so about the same price. I think 55 plus tax made it like 61 or 2 or something. But still, around the $60 price point's what I paid for this guy. And then I got another one when they were $25 at Ollie's. You won't be finding this guy 25 at Ollie's, but massive improvement, massive difference in just from the Earthrise, which I thought the Earthrise was okay, but I didn't like all this junk going on right here in the leg. I think what they did was they forfeit some of the bot mode for the alt mode, which they still have the same little weird kind of tabby stuff going on the chest on the Earthrise that I don't like on the Commander class one. But anyhow, overall big improvement. I thought this was a decent prime. I still kind of thought we would do a little better. I mean, let's look at the sides of these. Let's bring G1 in. I love the Missing Link line too, so that's a whole lot of fun. Pretty much everything coming out Missing Link I'm buying, except for some of the odd recolors I'm not going to get from Missing Link. And then turn this back around, and that's how that looks. Now, this does kind of look like a metallic, nice metallic color to the Earthrise one though, so I do like that. Anyway, there's that comparison. Here's how he stacks up next to Megatron, and he's taller than the. Well, so this would be the Siege Megatron, which I think is an absolutely terrible mold. And let me just look. I think this is the same. Is this the same? Yeah, this is the same. So that's what they KO'd to get that. But anyway, I think that's the Siege Megatron. The Siege Megatron mold was not my favorite. I only bought this one. Look at a much better looking arm too. I only bought this one because it was the Walmart exclusive and it was cartoon colored. So you got the cartoon color base, cartoon colored windshield there, and then we'll bring back in this guy here just for fun. And there we go. That'll make for some good clickbait. Now, going for comparison to Masterpiece, should they upscale this to Masterpiece? And no, they shouldn't. This finds its home in Chug, but doesn't really compete in Masterpiece. Like, people are going to say it's a mini Masterpiece, and it is very, very nice. But I mean, looking at this, there is Magic Square. Like, it's on a Magic Square is on a whole new level. MP44 still holds its own in some ways, many ways, but it's not the same. But I will show how it is inspired by MP44 in a few different ways, and a little MP10. But this whole damage gimmick thing was an MP44 thing that started, and I like displaying it like that because, but it's much easier to get the MP44 to grasp it like that. It just looks a little more natural with the articulation in it. It's probably the double hinge on the elbow. All right, now for transformation, it is on the complex side of things for a standard Hasbro release. Well, it's still Takara, so they can get a little jiggy with it. You know, it's kind of crazy. But let's flip this around, swivel the waist, and I like everything to make sense. So bring this down. Let's open up these flaps here, and I like to know that I've done all the weird rotating that I need to do. I don't really understand all of the rotations, meaning I already messed up the rotations. So that's why I want to do it now, get it out of the way. So you've got his butt face in the front, and then you're going to rotate his upper body. All right, so that's where that's supposed to be. Then we can fold these things back down. Then what we're going to do is fold his head down and around, and then we've got to fold this out, and we got to flatten it. So let's get this flattened, and there's that. Then we got to mess around with some of these arms a little bit, and you're going to notice that it's going to need to, so basically you're going to fold these backwards and then do some real crazy articulation with that. Before we can tuck his arms in, we got to fold this up, and then we've got to fold these back to make the room for the arms. It's always fun to kind of understand the engineering and why they do what they do. But there we go. Let's make it look nice and neat. And then we can get that arm in there. Tuck that arm in there, and it just Feels like it's supposed to tab into this. Let's tab it into that. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And remember, we're going to fold this to the back and then fold this up. And then this goes over. Tabs in. Starting to form the cab. I form the cab. Yeah, is what it is. I do believe we need these all the way up. I'm just kind of looking forward to the future here where this is going to fold back. And I kind of like keeping it on its legs. All right, now we're going to open up all this fun stuff here. It's a nice, what do you say, open up a can of worms. All right, so we're going to open this up. We're going to be able to open up these tires and bring them out. And then we're going to have all these other pieces come out of here. We're going to have the doors that we can form the doors. And then we are going to, I think this would be a good time to go ahead and bring those legs back to get that stuff out of the way. Make some space up here for this. Now that's going to connect in. Before we slide that up, we have to bring out the rest of this. I guess you could have slid it up, but we got to bring out the rest of this grill. It's in there pretty darn tight. I don't suggest using metal spudgers. I actually have this spudger I got with a New Age figure, so we're looking to try that one out one of these days. Pretty soon. We can close this up onto here. That is where the blast effects are going to go. And then close that up. Then we got to fold this up onto the side. Sort of fills that gap that I was looking at earlier. Same thing over here. We're going to fold this up. And it starts to clean up pretty good. And then we're going to see some other things happen with that. All right, for the lower legs, in order for this to have the room, you have to untab it, the lower legs from here. And so that's going to bring this out, which will give it the space to close that up. So we're going to flip this around here, and we're going to do a couple things. I guess we can just close the feet up. Will they just close up without opening everything? I don't know. Let's open this up. Let's open this up. Let's flip this over here. At this point, we want to flip this around, and as you can see, it's going to come up here and go into that. And then we're going to fold out the wheels, and then it's not going to go to the inside. It should all work pretty much just right. That's going to tab into here. This tabs into here. This tabs into the top. I'll tab in just right like that. Then the foot, that is the connector tab that needs to come out. It's a well, it's a slot, not the tab. So on the other side we'll have the tab, on this side we have the connector. That's how that works. Oh, the leg, lots of fun. So we're going to lift this up. We're going to open that panel, and then we are going to start the sliding process. Do the flip around. And then fold out the wheels. Fold up, I guess. Up rather than out. Fold in this panel here. This one's going to ultimately end up in the up position. And then we can start tabbing all this stuff in. As in this into the back. This into the up. Up into the cab. Tab it all up in it. You know, and you can see the difference between the paint and the dyed plastic. That's always a thing. And I do believe that there are tabs on this. I just didn't get that in there right. There we go. Those are in there. All right. And we want that all done. We got to get back here and take out this connector. The actual tab itself. So that folds up. That folds down. This gets into here. And everything just needs to be tabbed in, snapped in, and we're done. Well, we're not done, actually, because we got these pieces that need to go in on the sides, and there's one for each side to fit it just right. because the notch. So the little notch is going to be underneath the rear view, side view mirror. Now we're done. We're done. And yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Here we go with this transformed up into its mode, and it looks good. The alt mode looks pretty good. Is it perfect? No, nothing in the world is perfect. We'll compare it to a masterpiece. Master PCs. Lucky for me, we've got all the master PCs to compare it to. And I do believe that, like, that side's done right. This side didn't quite align just right. Got to get right into that little notch. It's not a big deal, but got it in that notch now. But a little kibbly on the back. Still better than what they did with MP44. That's for sure. Like, this back part's better than MP44, and we'll see that. Yeah, aside from that, it looks pretty good. There's another little piece, and I do understand it's a gap filler or something, and so they put this gap filler in here. I guess that's what it's for, to do some gap filling. I'm not sure exactly how it's supposed to go in, which direction. Okay, so yeah, since there's a little curvature to it, curvature goes in like that. Am I right? Or am I right? Okay, well then I guess I'm right. I'm not gonna leave it in this alt mode. I like the bot mode more, so I'm gonna go back to bot mode as soon as I can, but just showing what it does. Does what it does, and doesn't stay in particularly well for me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong with it, but yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. It's there, it's a thing. Now, what does it look like with the trailer? Well, the trailer, you can fold that down. These fold out and down, but you don't need that, and because you're going to plug this in to the hole. It's got a hole. You plug it in there, and there it goes. Works pretty good. It rolls and stuff. Now, does the original one fit? Oh yeah, the original trailer fits the KO figure, and I assume vice versa. You know, if that fits, it fits. Am I right? Maybe. So let's get into some real quick comparisons with the masterpieces. Oh wait, I tricked you. We're not getting into comparisons yet, because what we're going to do is we're going to untab it from the back like this, and we're going to get some of these out, which is really weird. It's really weird that these pieces, you have to put them together, are not the same color as the original ones, as the other, like, blast effects. See, these pieces match the original more than. So I don't want to get anything mixed up. So here's one of the original pieces versus the KO. So why did they make these look like that and not like that? I don't know, but I'm not mixing up the originals. But then you take this, and remember these slots down here? You plug them into here. And I assume they're pretty much the same. Are they? I don't know if they're keyed for per side or anything, or if they're exactly the same. I don't know if that makes a difference. Well, I did assume, and I guess it made an ass out of us, but there it is. It's just that whole, you know, he's about to transform and save the day. They don't hold in super duper well, but, you know, well enough to pull this off. Okay, yes, they are keyed specifically one per side, and there is the blast effect for him to blast off and shoot into the air so he could get that elevation transform and shoot everybody up. So. All right, so it's important to start with comparing Takara to Takara, and I will say that this is also a KO, so getting it to lay perfectly flat is an issue. See, the kibble versus less kibble. So they've righted a wrong that the MP44 had. That's MP44. But the cab itself, I mean, it still looks pretty clean. But this cab here for the MP44, obviously, there's a few areas that are cleaner and a little more accurate. And of course, if you fold these out, you can fold these out. Again, this one's the KO, so don't hold anything that it has as an issue against Takara. But they're both KOs. And now let's bring in the one I like more, which is Magic Square. And now Magic Square is not perfect. It's not, nothing's perfect, but it still looks good. It's pretty lightweight though. Pretty lightweight, and I do have to kind of like tab some stuff back into it. But there it is. And let's do this number here. So the waist is kind of still present, like that is the waist, or is it the back part of him still there? So I mean that's something, and it's sort of hidden on this one. So they've done things a little bit different, obviously, but overall I still kind of like the Magic Square one better. And at the end of the day, this was almost twice the price. That's like a $135 figure. This is $65. I mean, everything is relative. This is still good. That's still good. I still like things about this. All right, so what do I think about this guy? I think he looks great. I think they did a good job with him. I think that Hasbro / Takara did a great job with the Commander class figure. Do I think it's worth $90 for the standard one? I never really did. But do I think this is worth like $60, $65 with all the extra inclusions and improvements? Yeah, definitely. And I definitely jumped at buying my Sons at $60 at Target when it had that sale, because I do feel like it was definitely a big improvement from the Earthrise, which Earthrise was what I felt was okay. I feel like this is great. Is it perfect? No, nothing's really perfect. But for your standard Hasbro Chug collection, this is phenomenal. It's a fantastic offering, and the original one's phenomenal also. This has a few improvements that make me like it even more, and I'll probably get some stickers on it and stuff, but let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I did get this from Shozy Storm. I've linked down below where you can get yours. TH, and support your reviewer. Like and subscribe. Today, Hanger out.